I cannot believe it, but it's our last show of the year, and I'm in the driver's seat. This is going to be awesome. On today's show, we will be joined by the Shop as well as Edible Indy. So let's not wait any longer. Let's get started. Today on The Edge.
Your audio and video source featuring Indianapolis tech trends, marketing industry champions, and business innovation. This is Edge of Indy. Broadcasting from Edge Media Studios. Let's get today's conversation started.
Welcome back, friends. I am not Aaron Sparks, nor have I ever been. He is out sick today with a bug, so we hope he feels better. I am Brittany Simpson, Outreach and Onboarding Manager here at Site Strategics. And in the studio today, I have two new friends from the Shop, we'll talk more about that in a second. I am joined by Brian. Do you want to say hi?
Hey, how's it going?
There you go. And also by Alex.
Howdy.
So guys, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Thanks for joining me on my last show of the season. This is going to be fun. I guess to jump right in, go ahead and tell anyone who hasn't been there what the Shop is, and then tell them why they need to come immediately.
Sure. The Shop basically is we call it sports and hometown apparel. We focus mostly on sports, a lot of T-shirts, sweatshirts, that sort of thing. But we throw in a beer idea here and there, something that deals with the city. That sort of thing.
You have anything to add to that?
It's a shop, and you have to see it to believe. You got to go in and experience. It's a T-shirt store. A lot of local pride involved. We've got Visit Indy apparel. We do all the Visit Indy merchandise. A lot of Pacers themed stuff right now, or IU, Purdue. We had a great Merry Christmas shirt for this year featuring the monument and glittery lights. So it's the city's best gift shop, I get. Well, I won't say that yet. Silver City will come after us, but it's a great gift shop for the city, themed with a big sports-heavy theme.
There you go.
Well, throughout the season, we've had many guests on the show reference you all. So we had Mina from Two Chicks and a Hammer.
Oh, yeah.
She was here, and she loves your stuff. We've had Samantha Smith, associated with Be the Match, and Butler. She is crazy about your stuff, and then I've worn your stuff throughout the season as well, and I'm wearing you today.
Awesome.
So, you are hands down one of my favorite shops in the city. Can you tell us, and I think my favorite thing about you all is the variety of what you offer. I mean, it's not just only Indianapolis shirts, and it's not just one team or two. You've got the whole variety and the whole gamut. Can you tell us about kind of the production and the creativity behind it? So how do you decide on your designs?
It's a lot of yelling back and forth in our production space. We just yell out ideas a lot of times and see what sticks. We kind of look at market trends, what's popular right now. We don't want to be too much. We don't want to be a fad where it's something that we're not the fidget spinners of T-shirts, but we try to look at this style's cool, or IU's doing really well right now, or Purdue's doing really well right now. We noticed a huge uptick in Purdue sales during the football season because they're good again finally. And as a Purdue grad, that's awesome. But it's just we kind of feel out what people are buying. Visit Indy's been huge for us because people here love this city.
Morgan
and they've
was
got
on here
great branding. We're in a dirty warehouse downtown in the CCIC and having a blast, and we just come up with silly, ststupid ideas. And
you design them. Those are your designs, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd say I design about 90% of it. If we need something like an illustration, like what's on the Project 44 Moose shirt, we use a local artist in town. His name's Adam Johnson.
I have that shirt.
Yeah.
Husband and I both have that shirt.
Awesome. But like he said, it's mostly seasonal. So if cold season's coming up, we know we have to focus on that for ideas. So there's a lot of research too. So we try to research old shirts that were made in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and maybe take some stuff from that, or find an old logo, or it's really just what's in season. So if it's basketball time, we do that. If football time, we do that.
So you talked about all the brands that you have licenses for. So the IU, the Butler, the Purdue, Ball State, Indiana State, IMS, India, like everybody. What is that process like?
The college stuff is fairly easy. If you're going to do college gear, you've got to get licensing because you can't hardly do anything related to a school without them sending you a letter.
A cease and desist.
A cease and desist, yeah, which we learned.
You don't want that kind of mail.
Year one, you kind of learn that. You can't put a gold circle on a black shirt without Purdue sending you something. But college licensing is pretty easy. If you're a legit company and it looks like you have a good marketing plan, they'll give it to you. The pros.
That's not what I would have assumed was the case.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just be some random guy, but Pro sports is a lot harder. We've got denied by Major League Baseball and NFL player licensing, something like that. You've got to be a big hitter to get those. But
how much bigger do you have to get? Like, how can we make you that big?
We need to buy
more
a lot,
shirts.
Buy a lot of t-shirts. Yeah.
Do I need to come get some more
you
shirts?
need to buy a lot of t-shirts.
Okay, good to know.
It's really our style too. Like the major sports, since we have a vintage feel, they have larger brands that already do that, so they think that they're covered. So they say, yeah, we don't need you. So.
You have some cool new licenses too, right? Like the Rick Smith stuff. Tell us about like your newest.
Yeah,
partnerships
we've
that
been
you
wanting to do. We'd love to do current players. It's just really hard. They all have shoe contracts or something, and it's hard to get around. Retired players is a little bit easier. So we've been reaching out to the retired NBA players guys, and we got Rick Smith's.
What about Reggie?
Reggie is.
Do you want me to tweet him?
You can if you want, but what we learned about him is we gave up because of all the retired NBA players, there's like a list of 5 guys you can't touch, and he's on there. So even the Pacers can't sell his merchandise. Yeah, it's really weird.
He just doesn't want his likeness being used, which, that's his prerogative.
Yeah.
But
It's just, this is what he prefers.
But it would be it's such a strong
it'd do
visual.
really
Like you
well,
really could do so much with
Yeah.
it.
So we have plans to do a lot of old Pacers, and I know people are going to start asking us, and that's the reason.
Can you tell us more about the Be the Match Project 44 project? Because that's something Samantha was on here, and I'm crazy about her, and I told her I would support her in whatever way I could.
Yep.
So tell me about that partnership, because it's really important.
Well, our first store, now we have 2, but our first store is in Broad Ripple, it's Butler. That's our Butler store. And I spend a lot of time with my kids at Scotty's Doghouse because
It's right there.
they have a play area where they can play, and Dad can have another beer and have some quiet and actually eat. And we were waiting in the lobby one day, and there's a picture of Andrew sitting there, and it referenced Be the Match and Project 44. And I thought, hey, maybe this is something we could do and be a part of, raise some money for Be the Match. So we contacted them and learned a lot of information about the charity. And we decided to make 2 shirts for them that raise funds for Project 44 through Be the Match. And you know how it works, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay.
I just want everyone else to know
Okay,
how
well,
it
so,
works.
and it's, I didn't bring my cheat sheet today on the exact diseases it covers, but Be the Match is the National Bone Marrow Registry.
Mm-hmm.
So for bloodborne diseases, you typically need a bone marrow transplant.
Sure.
And Project 44 is Butler's kind of little division dedicated in Andrew's honor. And their goal is to find 44 matches.
Yep.
And through the bone marrow registry. And I think they just found their first match, maybe their second. I think
they are on number 2, actually.
Okay, they are on number 2.
I
Yeah,
think
I
so.
couldn't remember exactly.
Last I heard, I think it was number 2.
But so what we do is we raise funds by selling T-shirts. It goes back to Project 44, and we're actually going to be presenting a check at halftime of the Villanova game on the 30th. And
I will be there with Be the Match and Project 44, helping them swab cheeks during that game.
Awesome. And we're doing special student section shirts.
Very cool.
And
Can I get one?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Just go grab one, yeah.
Okay, good. I will.
And we're actually hoping it didn't happen this year, but in the spring at both of our stores, the whole idea was let's have a registry drive, because the whole point
That's
behind
awesome.
Be the Match and Project 44 is to get names on the list.
Yeah, you have to swab
And-
a lot of cheeks.
Yes,
to find
yes.
those
I think
matches.
it's like 1 in 3,000 is a match, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I was always under the impression that bone marrow transplants were insanely possible and insanely painful.
Yeah.
It's like childbirth, break a femur, bone marrow transplant. It's some around there, but I think it's a lot less invasive now. So we want to get people out. We'll probably have Blue at the store so people can meet him. And you sign up, you get a discount that day, you get your name on the list. You sign up on the list. If you're a match, it doesn't mean you have to go through anything, but at least they know you're out there.
So what happens if someone does buy a Project 44 shirt at the store?
We just donate $10 back per shirt.
Okay, that's
So,
awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Yep.
You're also running some incredible sales in the month of December, and I've been seeing them. Is that
A lot.
Is that
Yeah,
accurate?
no, we've been giving away everything. No, it's been.
so?
We've
What
been
is
pretty
your deal
aggressive.
today?
Visit
Today,
Indy.
yeah.
And we're going to show it up here as well.
Yeah.
Oh, in case you,
25% off
in
Visit
case
Indy
you
here, yeah.
forgot.
Shop. Yeah, we just, with the focus on online shopping nowadays, everybody's doing sales and deals. So we decided December 1st, we started this. It's every day it's been something.
And
So,
it's been awesome.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy every morning when I just wake up and like,
Awesome.
there it
Yeah.
is. And
That's
I'm
good
like,
to know.
oops,
Yeah,
I
it's
have to go there again
Yeah.
today.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
No, keep doing. No, definitely do. I'm sure it's
We get a few people who are
agonizing.
like, another email.
Yeah.
Like,
25%
delete
off is
it.
a
Yeah,
really
it's a-
good
yeah.
deal.
it's
I
a
mean,
good deal for a local
I mean, I get
business.
5 emails a day from the Gap, so one from us a day.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that bad.
That's funny. So you talk about online sales. You want more online sales. That's a really good avenue for you. You're also brick and mortar. So can you talk about, just as business owners and local entrepreneurs here, what's that been like kind of managing both of those, and which one is your favorite?
The brick and mortar, Broderpool, is, I talk about this all the time, but since we opened that store in May 2015, it's grown a lot. Even when we opened the Carmel store, I think sales went up.
When did that one
the other
open?
store. Carmel opened in September of this year.
Okay, cool.
But I think Broderpool sales actually went up when we opened the other store too. But I mean, our online has never been, I mean, since we opened our Broderpool store, the online sales have never been as good as that store has, but I think it's starting to get there. Our plan in January is to focus a lot more marketing on the online stuff
Very
because we noticed a little bit of shopping this year. We're down, like Small Business Saturday was down. I just think a lot of people were,
Oh, foot traffic was down?
yeah. I think a lot of people were online. Black Friday was great. Small Business Saturday was really down for us, and I think most stores actually. I think it's just because it's online focused. So we're trying to move a lot of our marketing and focus towards that this year.
Very interesting. Kind of looking back at what you've done since this all came to be, have you had a favorite design or a favorite shirt that is kind of stand out in your memory?
My favorite's the beer mug.
Well, yeah,
'Cause
That is a good
I
one.
don't do a lot of design. I do all the
yeah.
printing.
That's all Alex.
That's
on
my
that one.
wheelhouse.
And that's our bestseller.
And that was something.
Really? That's your
Yes.
bestseller?
Yeah, it's been that way since we opened our first store, and
Cool.
since he's been doing that.
Yeah,
so.
it's I don't know, because it was one of the designs I did, and
Well, that's why.
I mean it is why it's selfish, but I don't do much of that anymore. I print and I go home, and then I do my admin at like midnight when my wife goes to bed, and it's like but I see so many people wearing it. You know, when you see people walking down the street and they're wearing your shirt, I still get excited. It's kind of like that rock star moment when you hear your song on the radio.
Yeah, it's like when
You're
people
like-
tell me, like, I saw you on Edge of Indy. I'm like, oh my God, I've made it.
But like I'll go to a Pacers game, I'll go to the Indians game, and I count shirts in my head. Like there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I printed that. That's not our shirt, but that one still counts, and it's very exciting because, you know, we started in our garages. You know, we're not funded by anyone. We didn't do a Kickstarter. It's trial and error and a bootstrap budget. And there's a lot of pride behind it. Like, hey, look where we are now. Like we got Rick Smith's licensing now.
Started from the bottom, now you're here.
Yes,
That's really what this is.
I mean, it's kind of that old school, like, you know, I mean, we're not Apple or Microsoft, but they started in their garage. It's like, yeah, we just started from nothing. I needed something to do to pass the time while I was working out of town, and I didn't want to go spend my per diem in a bar every night. So I started researching screen printing because it's something I want to do, and I just kind of fell into it and quit my day job one day.
Something we hear a lot from businesses that come on here and just individuals in general is the whole shop local movement, which I think is so important. I mean, you have to support your local businesses. I like knowing that when I go to your store and I buy a shirt, I know it's feeding your family.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's not. It's not going out there. It's not floating out. It's literally
Yeah.
probably feeding.
Yeah,
their
between
children.
us,
No, it is.
between us, there's 5 kids. And he's got another one on the way, so there'll be 6. And yeah, it literally,
So we have a baby to
literally
feed
feeds
now.
families. Yeah.
So everyone needs to buy your shirts
Well,
to
and
support this baby.
We've got 4 full-time employees as well. We've got 2 other printers who are full-time, and then we have 2 store managers who are full-time, who are doing other things, and they honestly love coming to work and working with us and having fun. And a couple of them took pay cuts because they enjoyed what we're doing, and I think they buy into the company, and we give back to them, we take care of them. I think we pay them as well as we can. But yeah, you buy a shirt, it's not. I'm not driving a Lexus. I've got an 03 Wrangler, and I'm never going to give it up. I don't even wash the thing. The money goes back to the community. The money goes back to the people who live here in Indy. They're your neighbors.
Well, good. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah.
Very good. What would you have to say to anyone who hasn't been in the store? Because there's a lot of different shops in this community. Why should people come to the shop?
I would say at least come by, especially if you're a sports fan. I mean, we're really the only local brick and mortar sports-centric retail store there is. I mean, you got Finish Line and Dick's and stuff, but they're still selling national brand stuff. I mean, there's no, I don't think there's any other company like us as far as the sports look and the design of the stuff that we're doing. So I'd say if you're going to a game and you need a shirt on the way, at least stop by and see us. It's a little bit different than
Plus, they're such good quality.
Yes.
Can I just say that too?
Yes.
I mean, don't tell my husband, I buy a lot of clothes, and he knows that. And you can wash some shirt, and it'll be disintegrated and wholly in about 3 washes. Your all stuff stands the test of time. So thank you for actually like making shirts that last.
Yeah, that's one of our things. Like we're not printing on bad stuff. So.
No.
What about things we have to look forward to in 2018? Because it's just around the corner. So is there any breaking news that we should know about?
We do have one license that, I mean, I guess we can announce it.
Sure,
So,
why not?
Last
Donald
week.
Trump.
Yeah, no.
I was going to say, wah-wah. And that's the end of the interview. Thank you.
It's Ivanka.
It's Ivanka.
We got Larry Bird licensing. So we're gonna announce it in January formally, but we've got one design that we already sell that's gonna be licensed by him, and then we're working on a couple other ones. So we officially can put his face on shirts and
You should have
stuff
him in
like
the
that.
store and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be nice, but I don't know if we can get that to happen, but we'll try.
I'll help you.
We also have Cincinnati Reds player Tucker Barnhart. We have licensing with him now, so we'll be releasing stuff before baseball season with him.
He's from Brownsburg.
He's from
I was gonna
Brownsburg.
say,
so-
I don't know him, but
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. Other than that, no, we're just going to keep rolling. We'll have more Pacer stuff because they're going to be in the playoffs. Hopefully, looks like it. And, yeah, I mean,
Good old Victor.
yeah.
Bringing a little spark back.
We need Purdue to stay good so we can release some more Purdue stuff.
Go Butler also.
We need Butler to make the tournament.
We do need Butler.
A lot of our business is based on how teams do. So,
Oh, yeah.
if teams are bad.
That's true.
yeah.
I had not thought about that.
Last
IU
March,
stuff didn't sell
IU
last
sales
March.
were terrible. Yeah.
Nope.
So,
Thanks a lot, Tom.
IU.
Yeah.
It's how it is. They're still a strong brand all the time, but if they're in the tournament,
Hey, my dad's still wearing it.
yeah,
No matter what, my dad will wear his IU stuff.
they're loyal. But I mean, it could make or break a month, your entire month, if Purdue, Butler, and IU were all not in the tournament. That would be awful. I mean, it'd be a
They're
complete
responsible
turnaround.
for feeding your
Yeah.
family
So
too.
they should buy some shirts, or my kids aren't going to eat.
obviously, our horseshoe collection this fall was not great. So.
Yeah.
Dang, I know.
Yeah.
We need everyone. We expect more and we need better. We need better. Well, guys, thank you so much. I want to make sure we have all the bases covered in terms of where people can find you.
Yep.
So Twitter at the Shop Indy, Facebook.com/the Shop Indy. Website is theshopindy.com and Instagram is the Shop Indy.
Yep, pretty easy. Yeah.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
I'll be in later today for
All right,
last minute
awesome.
gifts.
Yeah, we
so
appreciate that.
just keep up the good work and thank you for what you do. It's really good stuff and it's one of my favorite places to go. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in 2018.
Awesome.
All right.
And I'll get in touch with Reggie.
Thanks.
Coming up next, I'm going to be joined with Paul Poteet. We need to talk about the weather and some weird and wacky stuff. So stay put and let's talk to Paul right now.
Real life, real stories. Let's see what's trending in Indianapolis. This is Paul Poteet on The Edge.
What is that?
It's an iPhone. Have you seen these things? It's amazing. It's like having a computer in your hand.
Jeez. You're supposed to have it lit, though. It's supposed to be the light that you do that with. And it was very quick.
I know. I was looking, see, folks, this is a professional production and we have to. So I was turning on my timer.
Hi, Paul Poteet. How are you?
I have, like Brittany, I have an iPhone 3 here. I'm very tight with the money. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. It's just you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It's just you and me today.
Where did everybody go?
Well, it's the end of the year and I kicked everyone out. It's my show now.
It's funny. It is. It's exactly all media is the same this time of year where, instead of the 2 anchors you might normally see, you see just one. Sometimes you don't even, know the people you're seeing because they're from different shifts. So I'm totally at home with this crazy setup. I like the way that we're swapping things out.
Good. Let's do it then.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm just, Aaron's okay, right?
Yes, he's fine. He's just a little bit under the weather and he sounds like a demon maybe took over his body a little bit, but he's fine. He's
Another
not.
demon, you mean, took over his body?
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly.
That's for you, Aaron, as you're watching. Well, it doesn't matter to me. I still went out and found you 3 bizarre stories from The Edge. I mean, if you're interested.
I totally am. Let's hear all about it.
First of all, let me practice my speech that I often give to people at the airport when I'm handing them flowers and tracts. Do you know where you're going to spend your afterlife, Brittany?
I have an inkling, but there's still plenty of time, so we'll see.
So do I, but now I'm wondering if I'm really doing everything that I need to do, because I found a site based out of Seattle that guarantees eternally good coffee. No, even though it's based out of Seattle, they are going to reserve a spot for you in heaven.
Oh.
And you know the name of the website?
Reserve a spot in heaven?
.com.
Naturally.
There you are at the pearly gates. If the world is going to end soon, are you religious, an atheist? This site says, I'm very careful to insert those words, it doesn't matter. Cover your bases with some earthly insurance. Well, Brittany, we buy home insurance, auto insurance. Just think of this as a different kind of life insurance. This is afterlife insurance.
Now, is it like a seat? Are you getting a seat? Are you getting like a bunk? What kind of space are we getting?
Is it reserved seating, or is it like that Southwest thing, where it's festival seating? General. Yeah, is there a 100% money back guarantee? Well, the company says that they sell what they call travel kits, complete with, to extend the travel metaphor, boarding passes. That'd be awesome if you get up to heaven. I thought I had the paperwork. It must be in my other pockets. You get boarding passes, certificates, and what they call Heaven 101 booklets.
Oh.
Frequently asked questions that offer the chance to enjoy your sin-filled life without consequence while lowering, quote, the risk of eternal damnation. Now, the story that I originally read this on, you'll be glad to know, helpfully included the last sentence: the kits are intended to be gag gifts.
Oh, well, thank goodness.
And by the way, I didn't say it in the original story, but $15 is the cost. Not that I checked or anything.
Ding!
Just saying, I'm okay. And while we're talking religion, next time we'll move on to politics, but we have 2 kind of vaguely, religious connected stories. We've all been, I'm sure, at a church, with kids doing something, as part of a pageant or whatever, where something isn't quite right. And that could be the best thing of all, of course, because then, people get the chance to laugh and you don't feel guilty about it or anything. Imagine being at a nativity at a church where somebody makes off with baby Jesus. In this case, it's a Tennessee church's preschool nativity play, and thank goodness we've got video.
Oh, it's so cute. I've seen this a million times. It just never gets old.
It's a 2-year-old sheep. One of the members of the tableau is a 2-year-old, and the sheep kidnaps the baby Jesus from the manger. Her daughter was playing the role, the lady who took the video. So Tegan is her name.
That's
Tegan,
a cute name.
Grabs the baby out of the manger and doesn't just grab the baby, which I think we're going to see here in just a few moments. Tegan isn't happy with that. There's no editing software on Tegan's mom's camera. Okay, she's going to.
Yeah, she's interested.
There she is. She's interested in the baby. Okay. We're going to. Oh, timeout. I'm taking. And the dancing begins.
I mean, who among us wouldn't want to dance with baby Jesus? I know that's on my to-do list.
That's right. Well, if you reserve a spot in heaven,
well,
Doc,
and I have, and I will.
Maybe someday. So she takes baby Jesus and begins to dance with it, which sparked a wave of uncontrollable laughter throughout the crowd. Her mom said she just really wanted that baby Jesus. Tegan loves being the center of attention, so the more people laughed, you know how this goes with kids sometimes. Oh, yeah. The hardest thing I've remembered now with grandkids is sometimes when you have to yell at them or be stern with them, but you're going like this.
you're fighting, not high-fiving them or laughing at them. Yeah.
That is hilarious. Don't do that again, kind of thing. So I'm sure that maybe is the speech that Tegan got. So
Well, I'm sure Tegan has a spot in heaven.
yeah, there you go. All dogs and sheep in this scene. I think we can all agree with that, can't we? All right, this is heaven for fast food enthusiasts. Now, are you much of an Arby's fan? You're probably out of the demographic on this one.
I have not eaten at an Arby's in probably over a decade.
Wow. Well, you're kind of like their commercials. I heard they have these radio commercials where they say, they have that big voice guy that they have on their TV spots, and he says something about, we've been around with roast beef, blah, 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 since the early 60s, and we introduced the beef and cheddar in the late 70s, and then for like a decade and a half, we didn't do anything. And then they talk about what they're doing now, because it seems like they have a lot more marketing, juice than what they used to have. Maybe it's horsey sauce. Maybe it's not juice. But anyway, Arby's is test marketing this. The Arby-nator. It was spotted on menus in Michigan, in Holland, Michigan, on December 7th. This massive sandwich contains, and I quote, all of Arby's legendary menu items and sauces on a single sandwich.
That is vile.
It is intimidating, isn't it?
How do you consume that? How does one tackle that?
I think I have a pretty big mouth, but I know. There's no way. You would have to
deconstruct it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and you'd have to get like sideways or something, wouldn't you?
You would need like a fork and a knife. You would need.
Oh yeah, I think I would.
Definitely a bib of some sort.
It's only going to look like that for a few seconds when they bring it out to you. It's got the roast beef. It's got your curly fries. It's got your cheddar sauce, Arby's sauce, and horsey sauce.
Oh man, I do remember how good Arby's sauce was. Like I can think about that and I taste it. I can get there.
Beef and cheddar. Oh, so delicious.
Oh, Arby's.
Well,
Well,
they may tempt you back with this. It's all on a sesame seed bun.
is it like $97?
I did not, unlike the Getting Into Heaven, I did not check the price of the Arby-nator. So, it comes in different sizes, so I guess it depends on the size. Classic, double, and the half pound.
A half pound. Friends, you don't need to eat a half pound sandwich. You just don't.
Half pound. I feel pretty full. Well, sometimes I get a double quarter pounder, so, oh my gosh, that's a half pound, isn't it?
Paul.
McDonald's.
Good thing you're a runner.
I could pound a half pounder. I could take the Arby. I want to control my meat fry distribution.
Yeah.
I don't want it arbitrarily decided for me.
The ratio has to be just right, I imagine.
Yeah, the ratios have to be correct. So Google it or look at our links. The Arby-nator.
Interesting.
Christmas cheer for
A little Christmas cheer provided by Arby's.
ho ho ho. In Rudolph, where Mrs. Claus is nagging Santa in the first few segments of the show, eat Santa, eat, and they've got that really prickly Santa in Rudolph who's always in a bad mood. And if he had an Arby-nator in front of him, I think he would eat. He would eat.
It's funny.
Yeah. So that is our pre-Christmas list of what's on the edge.
Cool.
And it's weather time. Look at that young lady. There's a white Christmas. It's like a storybook thing. It comes on Christmas Eve, no less. Well, it might actually start. That's the the fuzzy part is when is it going to start? It's a pretty good bet that there'll be some snow around on Christmas Eve. We know that, and we're definitely going to be colder starting on Saturday.
Yeah, that's cold.
Real cold starting on Christmas Day itself. And as we go to press here with a live stream on Wednesday afternoon, if you put Rudolph here next to me, staring at me with his little beady reindeer eyes, saying, "Mr. Weatherman, what's going to happen?" I'd have to say there's a chance for like an inch or two of snow sometime between Saturday afternoon and late Sunday night. Now I'm going to attach.
It's a Christmas miracle. Baxter is here.
Attach antlers to Baxter and have him.
Baxter.
My sleigh tonight. Yes, it is a Christmas miracle. He hasn't been in here for a while.
No, we haven't seen Baxter in a long time. I'm glad he came out.
Yeah, rain on Friday, and then at some point on Saturday, if the cold air gets here early enough where we still have some moisture around, then we're change from rain to snow. So we have one window where we could see some snow Saturday afternoon and early evening. Then it'll probably be quiet for a while Saturday night, and then a secondary little impulse is coming through on Christmas Eve, probably mainly in the afternoon and the evening. So
Okay.
we have our best shot that we've had in years. I was looking it up earlier. The last time we even got close to a big snow around Christmas, or any kind of snow around Christmas, was 5 years ago. 2012, we had 7 inches of snow the day after Christmas.
That just makes me want to dry heave.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping the streak would go a little bit longer too. Remember 2 Christmases ago, 51 degrees.
I do remember. That was glorious. So it's going to be drivable though. It shouldn't
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see heavy snow, but
Okay.
I mean, it could be sloppy definitely on Saturday and a little slippery. When it first starts falling on Sunday, and it's probably over with by Monday, but definitely going to be colder next week.
What
But
are your Christmas plans? What do you got in store?
look at that.
That is beautiful.
Theme tie. I'm going to be doing some work actually on Christmas Eve and a couple of days before that up in Fort Wayne for a TV station there, in case anybody happens to be streaming this in Northeast Indiana on Wayne TV. And then otherwise, our family will get together then right after that on Christmas Eve in the evening, and I'll see the grandkids on
Aw,
the Christmas Day.
good. Excellent.
One son that's coming up from Bloomington on Christmas Eve in the morning, and then the 3 of us will join our other son and my daughter-in-law, and then the 2 boys on Monday afternoon.
I saw your big family picture the other day, and it was very, very cute.
I know that was on Thanksgiving.
Cute as a button, all of them.
Oh my gosh, they are too much fun. So
Yeah.
it's kind of nice to have littler kids around again at Christmas time.
Hey,
Everything-
we feel the same way about you around here. It's good to have a Paul around here.
Oh, I
A
think
littler kid, Paul.
man,
The spirit of a little kid, Paul.
surgery must really be.
You look great. You don't look a day over 8.
T. Merry Christmas.
How do we find you, Paul Poteet?
PaulPoteet.com. Even through the holidays, it's amazing what data-driven robots can do. So even when you think there wouldn't be weather updates, there will be at PaulPoteet.com. And we'll be back with a new episode right after the first of the year.
That's right. That is absolutely right. We will see everyone back on not July. We'll be back before July.
That would be a
January
real
3rd. That'll be okay.
What do you think this is? France? No.
Well, Merry Christmas. Thank you for being a part of the show. We are very glad to have you, and we will see you in January.
See you then.
Alrighty.
This is Edge of Indy, showcasing Indianapolis tech trends, marketing industry champions, and business innovation. Broadcasting from Edge Media Studios. Now, let's get back to today's topic.
Welcome back. So we're here to talk with someone from Edible Indy, and I want to introduce her and then get her thoughts on the Arbinator. Joining me today is Jennifer Rubenstein with Edible Indy. So I'm dying to know, Ms. Jennifer, what are your thoughts on the Arbinator?
I think I vomited in my mouth a little bit. That seriously, my chest felt so tight when they showed the cheese oozing off of it. And you know what's even crazier is in my mind, I'm sitting here going, now, how could we make that really fresh and healthy and local and bring it in with Fisher Farms meats? That's the kind of crap that I just listen to.
That's
in
the
my
way
head
your
all the
mind
time.
works,
all
huh?
the time. I'm
That's
thinking,
funny.
people
You're
would
deconstructing it and rebuilding it better.
yeah, and how many people would absolutely like that on an Instagram post? If it wasn't from Arby's, but it was an Edible Indy, homemade recipe, am I going to get 1,000 posts? Because I'll make it. If it's going to get
I
that.
think we might have uncovered a new opportunity. Well, thank you so much for joining me on our last show of this season. This is very, very fun. Go ahead and tell anyone who's watching who doesn't know about Edible Indy kind of what you do and what you've been up to.
Well, I probably eat way too much, but essentially, I brought my little props.
Yes, please.
We actually are a seasonal publication that is all about the food. So we don't do reviews, to a lot of people's dismay. They're like, you don't do reviews? No, we tell the story. We tell the story of the food from the ground up. So we really are hyper local. We try to find the stories that no one else is doing and tell them about the farmers, the producers, the artisans, and tell people why it's so important to infuse the economy with, buying local and bringing that money back. And of course, growing and eating the local food is really important too.
You really focus on kind of off the beaten path places, which I really
Yes.
like. It's not the places that we've all heard about a million times. It's you introduce us to new places. So give us a backstory on kind of how you ended up in this role and why you're doing what you're doing. Because your story is pretty interesting.
Oh, I don't
I've
know.
kind of stalked you a little bit.
Well, thanks. I don't know how interesting it is. I mean, I've had one of those careers where I might as well be an ambulance driver to, a chef. But no, I've been in marketing and advertising for most of my life. I won't say for how many years, but
10.
Yeah, we'll just go with 10. We'll go with 10. Some say, more, but anyways, so, it's been one of those passions that seeing things from the ground up being built, branding, whether it be stories or logos or whatever it might be. And one of the things that I used to do is I used to actually have a consulting firm. And so I did branding and consulting for some restaurants in town. And I actually sold ads into the Edible Indy before my husband and I bought it. And we loved the publication. We thought it was really beautiful. And I was a foodie at heart. One of the things that we used to do in my family on Sundays and Saturdays is we used to drive in northern Indiana before GPS, before the iPhones, before you knew where you were going, and just travel the back roads and find the little roadside stands and spots to eat and drink and have ice cream. And it was a lot of fun. So that resonated within the Edible Indy publication. And so they approached me, the previous owners approached me and said, hey, we want to sell. We really don't feel like we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So do you want to buy it? And here we are. As my husband says, 4 years later, we bought a zoo. So, but it's a lot of fun. Like you said, it's telling the food story. 4 years ago, it was just on the cusp, talking about local fresh ingredients. We literally, the first issue that we did, we had 10 restaurants in Indianapolis that listed themselves as a farm-to-table restaurant. And now that's just a common term for everyone to use, farm-to-table.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that we bought it at the right time.
So you're really focused on kind of telling the untold stories and getting the story behind why people are doing what they're doing, which I really like. Because when I think about, I haven't been to Arby's in over 10 years. Like, I want to go to places that I know their face, I know their family. I know when I go here and I get a meal here, it's supporting little Jimmy or their kids or I like that kind of backstory. So what has that been like for you? That must be rewarding to kind of connect with these businesses and the people working for them. But what does that process entail?
It's talking to people. Every single person has a story. So it's really intriguing. I'm kind of like you. I love to just sit and talk and interview people. And so no matter who it is, food somehow is a part of their life. And we always say, if you're not laughing or crying at a dinner or a lunch, then you haven't prepared the meal right. And meaning that everyone tells stories. That's why you get together. That's why you break bread. And so, by talking with people, we uncover these amazing stories of people and how food has affected their life, good, bad, and ugly. And one of the things I've really been passionate about is in my PR and marketing days, there are fabulous publications out there, Indianapolis Monthly and Indy Star and, Yelp. All these people are doing great jobs to promote the city and to promote Central Indiana. And places like Milktooth and Rook and Neil Brown and all these great places, they get their PR and their press. But everybody tends to forget about all of the other people around. And so that's really what our focus is trying to find those neighborhood mom and pop places, and not even mom and pop places, but just the neighborhood places that are new. And now we've built on that, so people come to us first.
Because you're a trusted you're a trusted advisor now, which
exactly.
is, you've got that authority, and I think people trust what you say, which is really good.
Yeah.
The publication itself, you said you've owned it now for 4 years.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
How would you describe its kind of morphing in those 4 years? How has it developed, and kind of where do you see it going in 2018 as well?
Sure. That's a really great question. we feel like we've definitely moved from this publication that was really it is photo heavy, and maybe less about the editorial. The editorial was maybe a little bit more surfacey, where surfacey, that's probably not a
That's
really...
a word to me. I know what you meant.
Just Urban Dictionary it. But what we've done over the last couple of years is we've gained that process. Like you said, we've gained the trust. We've gained the ability to really be able to pay really great photographers and capture some of the skill sets of the graphic designers and the photographers, the writers, and we've just elevated everything, including our content. So we really are digging deeper into what the mission of each story is. And my newest managing editor, who also is the editor-in-chief of Edible Columbus, Ohio. So we've partnered and we've paired together, and she's been in the business for 10 years. She's taught me about this editorial arc and really trying to take one centered focus and try to be able to arc it so that everything is connected. And you can really see that in our winter issue, from the color scheme to the way that the photos are laid out to the cleanliness of the magazine. And that's really our focus, for moving into 2018, is to really still gain that white space, but make it look visually gorgeous and stunning and something that people want to have on their coffee tables.
To me, anytime I open it, it feels, don't go with me. Go with me. This is going to make sense. The same feeling I get when I open like an IKEA catalog, where it's like your mind just goes a million different directions and you can picture things and you have visions of what your future is going to look like and this and that. I feel the same way when I open this.
Aww.
Like it's an experience and it takes you out of just flipping through pages, but it's creating in your mind so much more. It paints such an interesting picture. So thank you for doing it. I love it.
Oh, thank you.
It's a work of, anyone that you open, it's beautiful. So your photographers do an excellent job too.
We were I'm particularly proud of our winter issue. And it was funny, Monday we were actually on Fox 59 with Sherman, and we went to the Rail and we did 2 segments with the Rail.
Sure.
And of course, Toby up in Westfield, if you guys aren't familiar with the Rail, it's in Westfield, Indiana.
I've not been to the Rail.
Oh, Chef Toby Miles and his wife, Chef Melanie Miles, they're fantastic. And he said to me, I'm a graphic artist by design. And he said, so seeing this latest issue, he said, you're hitting every mark. That right there, it's like me telling a chef that they've hit every mark.
Yeah.
That was like, ding.
That's like pin a rose on your nose for the day.
Yeah, I couldn't wipe the smile off. So that makes me feel really, really good.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Edible Indy Foundation? Because you're doing some killer things out in the community, and I think it's really important for people who don't know about it to know what you've got going on, because it's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
Thank you. So that's a little bit of a new project. My husband is also involved with the magazine. He is the wonderful CFO. He does our books, but he also, he actually runs the Golf Club of Indiana up in Zionsville. And for 11 years, almost 12 years, we have put on a golf outing specifically to raise money for another foundation that he actually started and he was a founding member of. And over the last year, we just started looking and we're raising all of this money and we're really super excited because in that amount of time, we've raised almost $500,000, and it went to a specific cause. Well, that cause really isn't aligning where we want to go anymore. And he said, you've supported my cause for so many times. Let's support yours. So with the Edible Indy Foundation, we got our official 501c3 approval in August, and so
that's a big deal. Good job.
It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
A lot of work. A lot of painstaking work. But yes, so we did it. So thank you. And we did our first golf outing under that particular name in September. And so what we actually sat down and decided is basically the Edible Indy Foundation is to connect Indiana youth with real food. So we do not want to be, we've been compared to the Pateet Foundation, which I really praise Martha Hoover and the Pateet Foundation.
Yeah, we've
They're
had them on the
fabulous.
show. They're fabulous, yeah.
And we have nothing, we're not even comparable to them, because really what we want to do is we want to look at doing micro grants, meaning that we have the ability to immediately provide a micro grant to an organization, to an individual group. And what our focus is going to be, and we're working on all of that right now in 2018, is going to be to partner with garden towers and we will be helping to put garden towers in schools all over the state. So somebody can come to us and say, we would like to start an indoor garden tower, and we can say, okay, we're going to be able to help you to provide that. We're going to help you set up a curriculum with that. We're going to walk you through the composting and all of the stages of from the beginning to the end. We're doing it we're going to start very small. We're hoping that in the fall of 2018 that we'll be able to have enough funds and enough of that information available to actually start implementing those for the 2018 years.
That's incredible. It also reminds me, I have to give her a shout out too, since I'm in the driver's seat today. This reminds me of about 2 years ago, I have a niece, Paisley, who's 7, who came home from school one day and had just learned about compost. And so she was like, you put it in and then you close the thing and then it's compost. And it was just like... It was just so cute to me that she.
Cool.
It's cool. It's
Kids
always
love
cool
that.
no matter what age you are. But that just jogged my memory of that. What are the towers? What is that?
Garden towers. So
Yes, what's a garden tower?
What they are is there's multiple of them all over throughout the United States, but there's actually a group called the Garden Tower Project in Noblesville, and they create out of like the 50-pound or the 50-gallon oil containers. They actually create gardens that have composting mechanisms in the bottom, and then they also have all of these. I'm not mechanically inclined, but they have all of these things.
And then it's compost.
You put it in, and then it grows. But it has like a watering system, and you put all of your dirt in it, and then you plant your seeds. So you can plant tomatoes, strawberries, things that are going to not be so heavy. You're not going to necessarily plant radishes, tomatoes probably on the top, but then itself, you water it and it self composts. So you put your eggshells in, and you have your worms in the bottom. But it's really cool because it's inside, so it's an indoor garden that. It just starts that process so that then they know the whole process of gardening, and then they can take it outside and they can hopefully create raised beds and they can actually do a real program.
That's incredible.
So we'll see how it works. It's kind of we're very nervous because whenever you start something new, and then you've got places like Kimball Musk's new place, and they're doing they're doing raised bed gardens, and they are amazing. But again, they're getting $500,000 worth of grants. That's not. There's still a place for the smaller places because those are the people that we're missing. We're missing those one-off schools or the small schools who they don't have that type of funding or grants.
Well, this kind of goes into my next question, which is, what do you think Indianapolis doesn't know about the food culture? You have an inside perspective. What do you want people to know about the foodie culture here in Indianapolis? What should they know?
That we have one.
That we
have one, and stop eating the Arbinator. Seriously, folks. That is one of my biggest. I have to watch my words here because I really want to. I'm a swearer, so I want to swear.
You can cuss a little bit.
It's one of my biggest bitches about this community is that we're fat, we're lazy, we're overweight, and we eat too much fast food in chains. We are a chain mecca here. If you don't have a chain and you don't have a church on every corner, then we're not Central Indiana. But we're never going to stop that. That's just the culture here. But what we can do is, we need to start supporting all of these local places. And, there's the Indy Star has all this week. Liz has been writing all about all of the closings, the surprising closures. They're not surprising, though. That's the thing, is this isn't surprising. Because if you're not out there supporting it
with dollars,
with physical dollars.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I'm waiting in your room out in your lobby, and I heard somebody say, hey, we're going to pick up Public Shoe Fly for food. And I was so excited to hear that because, again, that's a place that is off the beaten path.
So good.
Oh my gosh, their tacos are I love your tacos, your lamb tacos, your Viking lamb tacos, which is the local lamb provider. It's fabulous. It's absolutely,
I also want to talk about, since it's gifting season, and there's still time, kind of, not to have it in hand, but I want to talk about getting a subscription
Yes.
Because this would be a great gift for anyone who likes food or culture or Indianapolis, or just about just pretty things that you can put on your coffee table, for one thing. Can you tell us kind of what that process looks like and how people can sign up for a subscription?
So we are a free publication, and we distribute in 60 different locations in central Indiana. But what happens is we get those out, and they are off the shelf in 2 weeks. So what we say is we gift home delivery. So we don't necessarily gift the subscription, we gift home delivery, which means that you, for $32, you get 4 issues delivered in the mail to your house, and you can use them for whatever you want to use them for. Coffee tables. We even had somebody who posted last year. They used our Edible Indy, and they wrapped all their gifts in Edible Indy, and I loved
that's
it.
really smart. That's
I'm
really
like,
pretty.
But you can go to our website, you can go to our homepage, edibleindy.com, and you can order the subscription. There's a subscription button right on the homepage. And what's really cool is if you do order it and you gift it, even if it's whenever you put in that you gift a subscription, so there's a button that says you can gift the subscription, I will hand write a note personally on our Edible Indy stationery that says this is gifted from, and whoever it's from, and that goes in the mail. And I personally put each issue in the mail at the beginning, and then they go through our fulfillment
What a
center,
nice touch. Good for you. Thanks for doing stuff like that.
Thank you.
Keep it small, keep it local, keep it,
People love handwritten notes. Yeah, love the heart and soul of Edible Indy. Seriously, and that's what it is, the heart and soul of whatever you do.
No, and your passion for it is palpable, and I love your energy.
Aw.
Also, before we start to wrap up, you have some amazing partners that I'm sure you can't list them in full from A to Z, but do you have any today? I'm all about dishing out the love today.
Dishing out
Do you have
the
any
love
partners
today.
you want to shout out?
Well, I know they're big fans of yours, and you've had them on. Brittany Smith with Yelp. She is fabulous.
My little mascot.
I love her. She's my other redheaded buddy. I love them. Thanks to Sherman Burdett and Fox 59 for always carrying Edible Indy. Thanks for our advertisers, C&T Design. They're fabulous. They've been our back cover sponsor, and they have also,
which is also beautiful.
They are so wonderful. And C&T Design and Equipment, their kitchen. They are a kitchen equipment vendor, and they actually also do a lot with Second Helpings, and we create every year Fast and Furious Forks, which is a sous chef competition, and we give out over $5,000.
When is that?
Last year it was, or earlier this year it was in June. We haven't set a date for in 2018, but we'll keep you abreast.
Yes,
of
please
that.
do, because that sounds like something we would want to be a part of,
And
because
then-
it sounds awesome.
Yeah, and then the last, if I can,
Yes.
knowing how we met, actually I want to give a big shout out because we broke the news yesterday that Greg Hardesty is coming back, and he's actually going to be an executive chef consultant for Spoken Steel, who we're going to be working with a lot in 2018, and going to be helping them to really brand themselves as the neighborhood downtown restaurant to go to.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
Well, and as you know, I think that they're one of the most underrated restaurants in the state.
Very exciting news.
Yeah, so thanks for having us.
I want to make sure everyone knows how to connect with you and stalk you the way that I did. Website, edibleindy.ediblecommunities.com. Can you tell us about Edible Communities? Explain the relationship there, too.
I will.
Okay.
And first of all, it's just edibleindy.com.
Okay.
It just... it reverts to that. So what Edible Indy is we actually are part of the Edible Indy community. So we license the name Edible Indy and the brand, but everything else is ours. But we are part of a larger community in North America where there's 90 publications that all are hyper local. So pretty much every major city in the United States and some in Canada, Vancouver, Toronto, has an edible publication, and we all do the same thing. And I aspire to be so many of them. I look at we actually get them in the mail pretty much every day, and every time I'm like, damn it.
I should have done that.
That cover just kills me. So, but you can actually, on the ediblecommunities.com, you can actually go there and you can get a discounted rate if you want to buy more than one subscription. So you can go there, you can buy an Edible Indy subscription, and then you can add on Edible Seattle or Edible Ojai
That's
Valley.
a really good idea.
It's really cool.
That's
it's
a very
super
smart
cool.
idea. Well, because even if you don't go there, even if you go there once a year or whatever, you've been there once before, just knowing, just having it for information's
Right.
sake is very, plus it's pretty. It's all pretty.
It is. And at edibleindy.com and ediblecommunities.com, you have to go to their websites. Anything edible, because we have weekly content that is up there. Like right now on our website, edibleindy.com, it's the most wonderful winter cocktail. We have 30 cocktails. There's about 7 that are local, from a Hotel Tango to actually Ocean Prime in Palomino popped in. We have some from Tinker Street. We have our own. We have a crayon orange vanilla margarita that I made that will be on Fox 59 on Wednesday. I'll be presenting that.
I might need to take that to my in-laws this
Oh,
weekend.
I'm telling you, I should have brought a picture of them. We probably wouldn't sound as cohesive right now, but no, seriously, like that's anybody that wants that local food connection, go to ediblecommunities.com. You can see all of the edibles there, but definitely edibleindy.com. We have just so much content
Also,
there.
Twitter at Edible Indy,
Instagram,
Facebook Edible
Yep.
Indy, and Instagram.
We make it easy.
Marketing, check. Good for
Yes.
you. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me. This has been great. Please keep us updated on anything we can do to help because you're doing good work.
And same with you. Let
Thank
us
you.
know. We need to do this more often. I would love to come in on
and thank you for my
talk.
chocolate too.
Yes, I did bring her
She brought me some
DeBrand's
chocolate.
a shout out to our partner DeBrand's Chocolate, who just opened up at Keystone.
Thank you, DeBrand's Chocolate. You're very good.
Yes.
So-
very, very good.
On behalf of Jennifer and everybody here at Edge of Indy and a very sick Erin, who I hope is feeling better, I'm going to wave right now. Thank you so much for joining us this first season. We cannot wait to come back in 2018 and bring you even better guests with more news and keep following the people that we've been supporting. In the meantime, shop local, eat local, do everything local, support our community, and we will see you on the other side. Thank you so much. Bye.